Afternoon, everyone. This is Michael O'Malley here at the Hurricane Outlook and Discussion for June 11th, 2020, recorded around 4:14 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, taking a look here at the latest sea surface temperature anomalies coming off of the NOAA Coral Reef website here. Again, you continue to notice the very substantial decline in the ENSO conditions, now all the way stretching out to near Hawaii over here, with temperatures that are the sea surface temperatures, which are now beginning to plummet really all throughout this area, becoming a more pronounced La Nina type look here. Again, this is going to persist over the next several months, and we are unlikely to have anything substantially detrimental to the tropical Atlantic here. And that is one thing that we really want to point out, is that the tropical Atlantic right now is warming quite substantially. You notice almost this more classical positive AMO signature, a true and tried phase 1 AMO. And if you remember, we've been talking about that. A phase 1 Atlantic multi-decade oscillation, which is the term for AMO, that tends to favor the Atlantic main development region to warm quite substantially. We've seen that over the last several weeks, with more and more of the warmth shifting from this phase 2 to now this phase 1. It's shifted, and we're starting to see that transition further south. And this is very important because this has significant implications in terms of the actual hurricane season. This will mean a better potential for tropical development out in the MDR. This typically is very associated with very active seasons. It's coming, and we're not that far away from really getting in here to the true and tried tropical wave season. There's already a tropical wave we've got to monitor. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But again, the Atlantic here is setting up for a very busy Atlantic hurricane season. The Eastern Pacific cooling, the MDR here is going to take over and warm more and more. Now, taking a look here at the upper ocean heat content, this is the updated values as of today. Again, you notice where we start to get into the yellows and then up the scale here towards the oranges and reds. That's your more warmer water at depth. That's, more latent heat release, more instability in the atmosphere, and more potential for tropical systems to take advantage of that and strengthen. Again, our main area of concentration right now is in the Caribbean, like we typically see for this time of the year. However, we do notice that the Gulf of Mexico has certainly rebounded. A lot of the upper ocean heat content is back. We also have a lot of the area here just sitting south of the typical MDR region, which is mainly this area right throughout here. Once again, the western part of the MDR is quite favorable for tropical development in terms of the thermodynamic environment. And again, down here, in the lower latitudes, really coming off here about south of 10 north, this area will creep up towards the peak of the season here towards August and September. And we are likely to see this upper ocean heat content be quite substantial across, especially the southern part of the MDR. And this is going to support these tropical waves that come off. They could develop out here or out here. Again, either way, this busy season, and this is just kind of one of the clues to the game per se. And as a quick comparison, I don't have this pulled up, but we are actually somewhere in the ballpark of where we were last year, or not last year, but in 2017 in terms of the upper ocean heat content. The OHC, as it's called, is actually quite similar to 2017 in retrospects to everything out here. And especially the environment out here in the MDR is quite similar to 2017. So you remember how 2017 panned out. Not saying that this year is going to be exactly, because no years are an exact carbon copy. However, this is shaping up to be a very busy season, and this is just another one of those things that is certainly looking towards a very active hurricane season this year. And if we come off here and take a look at the CDAS methodology from tropicaltidbits.com, just another way of plotting the sea surface temperatures. Taking a look here at actual sea surface temperatures, and again, this area is more than favorable, at least in their thermodynamic environment, for tropical systems to develop and thrive. Again, you have now started to see a lot of this warmer water make its way up towards the coastlines here actually getting into the coastlines, especially from Wilmington, North Carolina southward through the low country of South Carolina, right along the beaches, Myrtle Beach, Edisto Beach, Hilton Head Island, Savannah, Georgia, the islands there, all the way down into Florida, and obviously the Keys, and even just off just off of Cape Hatteras in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, these water temperatures are starting to now creep up. So again, the thermodynamic environment, it's coming, and this environment is now setting up for more and more favorable patterns here, out here across the Western Atlantic, 27 to 29 degrees Celsius. And again, out here in the tropical Atlantic here, the main development region, as it's called, this area is now starting to creep in past, about 40 west now. This is our 40 west line right here. We've started to see some of these 26 degrees Celsius water temperatures now start to make its way. And again, even here in the southern main development region. So the time is coming. And, the waters aren't that chilly out here near the Cape Verde Islands. So these tropical waves that come off, they have a little bit of energy out here to work with. And the lower latitudes they go right now, you're still going to get some of that Coriolis effect. But these the warmer temperatures combined with these upper ocean heat contents that are down here in the lower latitudes certainly help this system. So certainly a lot to be favored here right now south of Cape Verde Islands. Now, real quick here, this is taking a look at the tropics right now, the main development region as it's called. There is a tropical wave, a very vigorous tropical wave out here that doesn't have a shot at developing 0% over the next 5 days and 48 hours. Last night it was about a 10% chance. It's now 0 now. But this goes to show that we have a very vigorous nature in these tropical waves. They're coming off of Africa, and they're trying to do something out here, given what environment we have. And it's only June the 11th, people. And this is one of the main problems going forward, is that we have very vigorous tropical waves. It's only June the 11th. And come, August 5th, August 30th, September 1st, this is going to become a very big problem. I do believe so. So you definitely want to stay tuned. Again, this is only expected to bring some showers and thunderstorms for Barbados and some of the lower Lesser Antilles here in the southern Windward Islands. Trinidad and Tobago might get some rain from the system, maybe some squally conditions and some thunderstorms, but generally some rain, gusty winds, squally conditions. You're used to this. If you've been here, any more than 2 years, you're certainly used to these tropical waves. And, they're not really of deep concern, but they can cause some flooding issues, that's for sure. Now, real quickly, again, we're doing this all because of you guys, and today we are starting a new frontier. We are getting unmanned cameras now to be setting out along the coastlines for tropical cyclones, and when they come, you can get into these, you can watch these cameras live. This is our phase 1, our first operational testing model per se. This is going to be our first operational model that we have. We've tried some other things in the past. This is our first camera system that is going to be going operational. We will be doing some testing runs that you guys will be able to see. And we are also then going to be getting in the operational side, that if we have tropical cyclones that are going to be making landfall and impacting land, we can put these out here. And this is going to be something of a new frontier that we're going to be able to do. So if you guys want to support this and check out more of what we're doing, this is my Twitter handle right now. You guys can go check it out. And of course, I will have that linked in the description below, as well as my website. It's all right here. You guys can go see what's happening. And since I'm moving into college now, you guys can see even more what I'm doing. So make sure you guys go check that out, and just kind of a quick promotion there for that. Anyway, on with the rest of the video. Again, we are watching, this is our little tropical wave out here. Not really anything substantial. We do have some other energy out here in the main development region, not expected to bundle it anytime soon. We also have something we're watching out here in the far eastern Pacific, but no real deep concern to land at this point. We do have a pretty decent area of spin, but that's not really expected to do anything. So generally, for the most part, this is actually now the remnants of Cristobal way out here in Canada. That's expected to eventually kind of come out here over the far northern Atlantic here over the next several days. And that could kind of actually have effects down here in the MDR, increasing the trade winds across this area as it kind of moves this area of high pressure out here further back towards the west. So a lot of interesting atmospherical processes that are going to be occurring over the next several days there. Again, with our tropical wave, our shear is just too strong for this time of the year, as we would typically expect. 25 to 30 knots of shear blowing over top of this here. Not really expected to do anything, but we will be watching this general area. But for the most part, the tropics should remain quiet over the next several days. Now, taking a look here at the Weather Nerd satellite here, again, you notice that we do have a very vigorous, and I mean very vigorous tropical wave that's out here to the south and east of the Cape Verde Islands, which are these islands right over here. That's the Cabo Verde or Cape Verde Islands. And this is just south and east of the Cape Verde Islands. Very vigorous tropical wave for this time of the year. This is our tropical wave that we've been watching here that the NHC has denoted a probability chance for. Again, not really expected to do much, but this is expected to bring some showers and thunderstorms to those areas over the next several days. Again, Trinidad, Tobago, Barbados, certainly in the southern Windward Islands here, the Lesser Antilles, these areas could experience some heavy rainfall, gusty winds over the next several days or so. But again, not really expecting much development out of this at all. You also notice that we have a large area Saharan air that's finally beginning to pull off, but it is a little bit further to the north for this time of the year, and that's very interesting and intriguing, and that certainly has implications going forward towards the hurricane season. Now, if we take a look here at the up-and-close satellite image, this is the vigorous tropical wave here just coming off of Africa. Fairly good envelope of energy to it. Very, convective here. There's definitely a lot of convective elements as we kind of close out nightfall here. But you do notice that this area is more than conducive for, thunderstorm activity. But unfortunately, or fortunately rather, we really don't have anything to kind of kickstart any tropical development. There's still a lot of wind shear out in this area, and there's certainly just not a lot of favorability in terms of our actual sea surface temperatures and upper ocean heat content values right now. Just not really there yet, but again, it's June the 11th. To see this sign is quite something interesting, and it certainly has a foreshadowing effect for maybe what we could see going down the road now. Now, taking a look here at the 12Z GFS forecast, valid as of 1 o'clock this afternoon from tropicaltidbits.com. This is taking a look here at the 850 millibar vorticity, the spin in the atmosphere about 5,000 feet off the ground. Again, we'll just kind of play this out here and, really just show that the tropics remain quiet for the most part, not really seeing anything even out past 200 hours, not really seeing anything in the model fields right now that indicate anything. And for reference, the European forecast is pretty much the same. There's something that tries to get here, maybe something, but again, that's kind of reaching there. But again, not really seeing anything in the tropics. Again, not really anything showing any signs of development. The European here's something off the coast, but again, it is just way too early. The tropics remain fairly shut down for this time of the year, which is to be expected, and we should see a natural progression towards the board lighting up here later in the year. Later in the season out across this area. Again, it's going to be a very busy hurricane season. We know that. We've talked about it. We have a lot to track here over the next while. Certainly the sea surface temperatures, that's one thing, and the upper ocean heat content. Again, if you guys do want to go support what we're doing with these unmanned camera systems, make sure to go follow me on Twitter. Also, follow me on YouTube because the content that we do is supported by you guys. And we will also be updating you guys here on YouTube as far as our testing. When we get the testing stuff set up, you guys will be able to watch it, tune in and everything. And we'll be giving it a shot for this hurricane season. Hopefully we'll be able to go operational by the time we actually get to the month of July. Later July is the operational time frame on our kind of guidelines here. So we'll be kind of testing everything else. So if you guys want to make sure... if you guys want to support this, make sure you guys go follow what I'm doing here. All right. Well, hope you all have a great rest of your afternoon and evening. I am Michael O'Malley, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow afternoon. Stay safe, everyone.